Hey everybody, and welcome to Lex's Lounge. Today I wanted to talk a little bit about a couple topics. First off, customizable demographic advertising, which sounds super boring, but it's actually a really nifty tool that has only come up in the last few years or so through social media, so I wanted to make sure you guys knew about it. So what is it? It means that you can advertise yourself or your business to exactly who you want to advertise it to. Back in the day, if you had a business, a small business, you were pretty limited to certain types of advertising, whether it was newspaper or local television or flyers or whatever it was. You had no guarantees about the type of people you were actually advertising to and whether they had anything to do with your business at all. Nowadays, you have a huge advantage through platforms like Facebook, for example, and through platforms like AdSense and AdWords. You can greatly customize who it is that's seeing an ad. I'll give you guys an example. So let's say that you run a little garage door servicing company, just as an example. You're a one-man business, you don't have a lot of advertising cash. You can actually customize an ad that appears on Facebook for people, that only appears on people's pages if they're in a certain age bracket and they're in a certain gender and they live within a certain distance of you. And that can really help you in terms of picking out customers and actually only spending advertising dollars on people who might actually want to be a customer for your business. So that's actually an incredible power, custom demographic advertising. And in the future, you're going to be able to go even further. For example, you're going to be able to advertise strictly to investors if you run an investment company, or you'll be able to advertise strictly to homeowners if your service is only applicable to people who own their home, and so on and so forth. So if you've never taken advantage of this kind of advertising and you're a small business, I highly recommend you do. It makes a big difference. The other topic I wanted to touch on today is the economic pie analogy, which I think is something people should keep in mind when talking about economic issues and political issues. There's been a lot of that in the news with the American health care bill and some tax reforms and so on. So there's this analogy, and here's how it goes. You give a rich man, a poor man, and a middle-class man a pie, and that pie represents the economy. The rich man gets 8.5 pieces of the pie, the middle-class man gets 1 piece of the pie, and the poor man gets half a piece of the pie. And then the rich man, before walking away, turns to the middle-class man and whispers, "Hey, the poor man is thinking of taking away your piece of pie." And this little story about a pie is so incredibly true. And it reflects so much in the economy and in politics, because you always have politicians that'll say, well, we got to cut this entitlement program to save money, or the economy is not going to function unless we get rid of welfare, or unless we get rid of this, that, and the other. But the reality of the pie is that if you are the government and you're trying to create the most robust and healthy society, and you're trying to spread the wealth around in an equitable way, you shouldn't look at the guy who has half a piece of pie. And you shouldn't be trying to convince the guy with 1 piece of pie that the correct policy is to take away the half piece. And you shouldn't be trying to convince the middle class guy that it's his piece of pie that's in danger if you give the people who are struggling something. The reality is, in both figuratively and very literally, that the wealthy class are the ones who control 8.5 pieces, like 85% or something of the pie. There's shocking statistics around how much wealth the wealthy class controls, and how much more of the wealth has been drifting in their direction, especially in developed countries over the last 30 years. So something to keep in mind when it comes to economic policy. If you think that you're going to greatly realign the economy and greatly improve growth by basically taking away health care or entitlements or whatever away from the people who are struggling, you are just not targeting where the pie is. And it's just not going to work to the degree that you think it's going to. Yeah, I don't know why that came up in my mind, but I wanted to discuss it. And I guess on this channel, we talk about whatever crazy thing comes into my mind. But I suppose I've been reading a lot of American news is what it comes down to. Anyway, I will see you guys another time. Be sure to subscribe, hit that like button. And yeah, working on a big giveaway on the main channel. That's this Saturday, so be sure to tune in for that episode. Have a good one, guys.